Hey everyone, it's Dr. Zora here and welcome to another SkillCapped guide. Today we're going to be reviewing 5 abilities in Valorant and tips and tricks on how to use them in a more advanced way to get easier kills. Most players know the basics of how an ability works, but they don't delve into the unique tricks that you can do with these abilities to take your level of play with that agent to another level. By the end of this guide, you'll have learned ability tricks with agents such as Omen, Phoenix, Raze, Brimstone, and more. Not only that, but you'll have identified the best scenarios to use each of these tricks to outplay and outsmart your enemies. But before we get into that, we're excited to announce our brand new hyper improved platform specifically designed to help you improve fast. At SkillCapped.com, you'll finally learn how to level up your aim, different techniques to win gunfights, and so much more. We have professional courses on every single agent, map, and mechanic in Valorant. This is backed up by the top pros, players, and coaches to make sure you are getting the most up-to-date and accurate information possible. In fact, we're so confident that you'll improve using our system that we offer a rank improvement guarantee. Check it out yourself in the link below. Simply put in what rank you're currently at and find out what rank you're guaranteed by using our system. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your true potential and get the rank you've always wanted at SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Alright, enough with the hype, let's jump right into the video. First up, there is a very unique way that you can use smokes in Valorant to give yourself an edge in your gunfights. These smokes are called one-way smokes. What these smokes will do is it will narrow the enemy's vision while still giving you a clear view of any enemies that pop up on your screen. Especially if enemies are very close to your one-way smoke, they won't be able to see you at all while you can see enough of their body to kill them without getting shot back. You can do this with any agent in Valorant that has a smoke such as Brimstone, Omen, Viper, and Jet. We're going to review the one-way smokes with Brimstone and Omen as we believe they are the most useful and most easiest to perform with these two agents. The easiest to do one-way smokes is with Brimstone. There are multiple smokes that you can drop onto tall containers and boxes to give yourself that one-way smoke. For example, on defender side, if you hear enemies pushing from A short, you can throw a smoke on top of the boxes in that choke point to get a one-way smoke down. If enemies are pushing, they won't be able to see you, but you can see them and land some easy kills. Similarly, there is another one-way smoke on B site that is very useful as well if attackers are pushing from Octagon. Really, any container or object of similar height will allow you to get a one-way smoke with Brimstone if you place the smoke on top of it. Next, creating one-way smokes with Omen can be a little tougher, but once you learn the trick to getting it down, you'll be able to get one-way smokes on several parts of each map. To perform a one-way smoke with Omen, simply be aware of when an arrow pops up on the screen and where it is marked. There will be an outline of the smoke shown, and if the arrow and outline are slightly above the ground, then you will be able to throw the smoke without it dropping all the way to the floor. And just like that, you have a one-way smoke. To add on to the variety of smokes that Omen can throw, you can actually get one-way smokes down at times even if the arrow is colored red rather than green. For example, a modification of a common Viper one-way smoke in male can be done by tracing the highest part of the male doorway and going slightly off to the right until you see the arrow show up. If the arrow appears, you can usually get the one-way smoke off. And by knowing this information, you can throw the smoke down in way more areas than you think. These clips just show a few examples, but make sure you play around with the smokes to identify one-ways you can throw out to catch enemies off guard. Next up, there are unique tricks that you can do with Phoenix's wall to really catch players off guard and give your team a massive advantage. Now, many players understand that the main purpose of Phoenix's wall is to block off enemy vision, and they'll do a decent job at placing these walls, but they don't utilize the ability to its fullest potential. In particular, many players tend to neglect the aspect of Phoenix's wall where it can actually curve. For example, if you're playing defense and trying to defuse the spike, you'll want to use the Phoenix wall to block off vision. To do this, players may curve a wall through C-Long or go through a wall right in front of Garage to cover it off while they try to go for the defuse. This will be sufficient most of the time, but with these walls, you're really only covering one choke point. If multiple attackers are present, this will not be enough to give them trouble to defend the spike. What you can do instead is really curve the wall so you can cover multiple choke points at once. For example, from the C site, throwing a wall forward and then curving it quickly by moving your mouse to the side and doing almost a 180 will allow you to cover off Garage and C-Long at the same time. This can put players in these two choke points at a panic as neither of them can now see you. This situation puts them at a higher risk of making a mistake and pushing out too early, and giving you an early elimination and more time to finish off other players and defuse the spike. From there you can take things one step further by creeping up and flashing through the wall to peek C long garage, and it'd be harder for enemies to predict which side you were going to flash from. So really take advantage of the curving ability with Phoenix's wall to really throw enemies for a loop. In fact, you can even move your mouse beyond 180 degrees while using Phoenix's wall, and with the right timing and without obstacles in the way, you can create a semicircle that will really make your location unknown and open up possibilities for a surprise peek. Next up is using Raze's Satchel to get significant forward momentum. If you are on a level surface and trying to use satchels to cover distance, you're not going to go very far. The distance can be enough to go where you need to go, but you can cover much more and even use it to surprise enemies with Raze's Satchel boost and get into unsuspecting positions to kill them. One way to get that additional momentum with the satchels is to get yourself to an elevated position. From there you want to drop the satchel onto the ground and jump off the object you're boosted onto. From there you want to get as in front of the satchel as you can while still getting hit, and at the lowest point before you land, hit the satchel and it'll project a fair distance forward in which you can then get into a surprise angle to peek an enemy. Another trick you can do with Raze's Satchel boost is do a double satchel boost to gain momentum and distance coverage to surprise enemies. The idea is similar to the first one, where you want to be on a relatively elevated surface and then throw a satchel. Jump over the satchel now, and once you're in front of it and still airborne, make the satchel explode. Once the first satchel explodes, look down, and then once you feel like you've hit the max forward distance from the first satchel, quickly throw and trigger a second satchel to keep that momentum going. This combination can really cover a large distance and put yourself in a position that enemies are not expecting. Moving right along, there are many tricks that you can do with Omen's teleport. Now if you played Omen 4, you're probably aware of the standard way that you can use Omen's TP. You can use the boost onto certain objects to catch enemies off guard, or you can TP onto a position that you can't normally cross over safely. You can then peek from that unsuspecting angle to get a free kill. Once you get that kill, you can then use your second TP to get back to safely and go back to the site. Now if you want to mix things up and really throw the enemies off guard though, what you can do is fake the teleport. For example, the standard teleport play from B long is to get to the bind teleporter, get an off angle kill, and then back up to Octagon and run to the site. If enemies are already really close to you though and could potentially kill you if you TP to Octagon, what you can do instead is surprise them by using your teleport, but just use it in the exact same area that you were already at. Yes, this will make a lot of noise with this teleport, but once the enemies initially hear the teleport animation, they will think that you're going Octagon and thus will turn towards that direction. By the time they double check and listen more carefully to realize that you've actually faked, it's likely too late for them to react and you can kill the enemies behind their backs. Now another trick you can do with Omen's TP on Bind in particular is really selling a fake with Bind's teleporters together with Omen's TP. For example, if you use your TP and hit the jump key to get into the bind teleporter, you'll trigger the teleporter noise, but then Omen's TP will trigger afterwards to put you back in the original area that you were at. With the noise made, enemies may believe that you actually teleported to the other site, and then they'll push at the other site where you just TP'd and could be surprised that you're still there. To take it another step forward, if you're really pinched in an area by the enemies and they're pushing you, you could take the risk of teleporting directly behind them if there is a more common teleport location that players usually will choose. Again, on B long at bind, many players will either TP to Octagon or just go to the bind teleporter itself. Enemies can expect this play, but if the timing is done right, they may not suspect that you faked the bind teleporter, but you also place your Omen TP directly behind enemy lines. If this is done correctly, you'll end up right behind them and can get easy kills. These are just a few examples of how you can fake Omen's TP or TP into unsuspecting positions based on the situation you're in to catch enemies off guard. And if you do this properly, it can really make for some fun plays and clips when you play Omen. Lastly, we're going to go over Reyna's E ability, Dismiss. Dismiss is an ability that is heavily underutilized by many Reyna players. Because it has a delay after it's used before you can shoot, some see the ability as not very useful and end up opting more for healing. However, Dismiss is a fantastic ability that can allow you to go for riskier plays. For example, you can push aggressively on attack and defense with Reyna, and if you grab a kill and know another enemy is close by trying to trade the kill, you can use Dismiss to escape to a safer location. If this scenario presents itself, it's usually better to grab a pick and then get to safety with Dismiss rather than risking getting a 1-for-1 trade, which may or may not be favorable to you. Some players know to use Dismiss as an escape mechanism, but they don't use Dismiss to play even more aggressively with Reyna by gathering information with it. With Dismiss, you can actually safely push through choke points to spot out potential enemies in the area before spending the last second of the ability to back away. If done correctly, you've identified any enemies that are nearby, which can allow your team to prepare to engage them. In this clip here by pro player Brax, he utilizes Dismiss in this fashion. He grabs an initial kill and then quickly uses Dismiss to scout for the next enemy. With the help of Sova's recon ball, he then finds his next target and is able to get a second kill very easily. Brax then uses Dismiss again to scout for enemies around Heaven and Spawn, and he ends up finding a player at Spawn, giving more valuable information for his team to play out the round. Brax then later grabs another 2 kills with a quick peek and then uses Dismiss to get information on the last player's location, but he also uses it to toy with the enemy. By dismissing a round, Reyna still has to respect that Brax's teammate could peek from the other side and Brax is just baiting for him. Because of that, Reyna is just going in circles, unsure of where to focus on, and Brax ends up grabbing the ace. And remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Alright, so what ability do you like using the most in Valorant? Let us know in the comment section below, and while you're down there, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get more premium guides just like this one with one goal in mind: helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. I'm Dr. Zora, and good luck out there.